Hey, what's up? So, how many comic books from Africa do you know? How many have you read? Have you ever seen any African comic books or graphic novel or productions? Well, today I want to introduce you to, drums roll please, Beast from Venus. Beast from Venus is one of my favorite comic books of all times, and I mean it. I've read I've read so many graphic novels, but still this from Aand Studio. Aand Studio is a company that offers solution in visuals. I'm talking about concept art, I'm talking about graphic novels, I'm talking about illustrations. So in terms of just visuals, I like to think of them that way. That the guys who've done this and that one, and a lot more. There are so many around me, there's so many everywhere. I love their style of artwork. I think they do a very good job blending African, modern with pop culture. You know what you're familiar with, and then they give it its own twist in terms of keeping it African. So, Beast from Venus, it's a very short story about a young boy. It's a father and son story. Underneath it all, the subtext, it's a father and son story. But then it focuses on an incident that happens to the son. Something happens to the son, and it's pretty... I don't want to spoil it for people, but the one reason that I absolutely love this book, it's because of the story. The story is... it's structured very well. It gives you a very good opening that gives you an idea of what is happening, but not like everything. It doesn't like lay everything on the floor for you. Then it introduces you to the story, and then the character has to go on a journey. And I'm not talking about, he literally has to go on a journey. And then something happens to him. It's as basic as that. And the ending, for me, is why I got to love this story so much. Now, if I were to put this the simplest way, the ending is, if you remember Atonement, this is much closer to that. It has almost that impact, and it has nothing to do with Atonement, not in terms of story, just in terms of how that ending made me feel with Atonement. I got the same feeling from this particular book. Now, the story is based on Nandi folklore, and they do a very good job. You know the way you read a book and then there's no context, you don't know anything about the heroes. Maybe you know about Spider-Man, but you don't actually get a very good understanding. For example, you know that Superman was created by two guys who had issues, and later on it became this whole big thing. But when a Superman comic book comes out, they don't give you a history at the back. They don't try to give you context in relation to Superman, the character. So with Aand, let me just try to hide this. This is like the back cover, right? So they try to give you a history of the story that you've just read. They just try to give you an understanding of the story behind the story that they've told you, because they have to do a lot of research. They have to go deep into, for example, Nandi folklore. They have to like super explain to you what you just read and what some characters within the story actually mean. So they didn't just come up with a story. They had to go and research and look at the Nandi people, talk to the Nandi people, and get this story. And then now they illustrated it, which again, it's beautifully illustrated. As you can see, this is from Salim Buru. Salim Buru is like, you know, like a super. I mean, look at this, man, and look at that. Yeah, he's an awesome illustrator. And if you were to look at some of the pages without spoiling for you, I mean, look at this. This is pretty cool, right? It has its own unique look and feel. It has its own African look. There's an interesting use of color. It's not oversaturated like a graphic novel. It's actually, the saturation is pulled down a bit to have an interesting tone. Now, where can you get this? I don't want to promise you that you can get a soft copy online, but you can go check out Aand Studio's website. They did not pay me to do this. I'm just doing this because I actually love this book, and I love their latest book, which is called Wanawa Magere. I'm going to review it. I think this is on Amazon. I shall share the link. Not affiliated or anything. I'll just put the link below. If you're interested to read something different, you can actually get it. Just to understand why I am really pushing for you to look at this kind of artworks and this kind of storytelling, this African, you know, authentic. There's a sense of authenticity that comes with what Aand is doing. And I can only say that but you can actually experience it when you go to their website, because they have a lot of stuff. They have posters. You can take a look at what they did before. You can look at their awesome work. You can look at their language, their visual language, and understand why I actually had to do this, because these guys are awesome. They do a very good job. And as I said, they don't just go into stories. That's one thing I also learned during one of the sessions that we had with them. They just don't do stories. They actually do a lot of research into what they want to talk about. And before a story is presented, before a story is produced, there is a lot of, they actually have a researcher who is also the storyteller. So yeah, that's basically it. So look for this book, please. It's Beast from Venus. Give it a look. It will give you a better idea of, African folktales, folklores. So basically that's it. Remember to always watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch, and I shall see you on the next one. Subscribe. I will be reviewing that book. It's called Wanawa Magere, and after that I will also be reviewing other comic books now from the West, a few more. I think I shall do Divinity. I shall do the new book from Liba Major. I shall do a lot of Liba Major's work because I love its art style. And at some point I will look at comic books with black lead characters that are not necessarily Black Panther, unique graphic novel or comic books that have an African American lead, or just any other good graphic novel. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I shall see you on the next one.